Welcome to Season 4 of the Dubai Connect podcast.
Actually, I should say welcome back, Gigi, for Season 4 in Dubai.
It was a long season without you.
Yes, we missed you.
I don't think you appreciated me doing Season 3 in San Diego.
I definitely appreciate you now. I'm so glad you finally made it here.
Thank you. It has been an incredible several months since I've been here last, and we have learned so much. We have gone through so much with the North American buyers, right?
Indeed.
And one of the questions that is asked over and over again by our investors, what are the top areas to invest in now in Dubai?
Okay. We've had one of the best years this year, yes. Mission accomplished. Thank you, God.
Thank you, God.
As you have noticed, Gigi, the dynamics of the market keeps changing every year in Dubai.
Even more than every year.
Actually, yes. Let's
Right?
go back. It's actually every 3 months, I would say.
Exactly, because we did this episode, and it's actually one of our most watched episodes.
Yeah.
But that is not the same 6 months ago
Correct.
as it is now.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because there were too many projects and communities to focus at that time, and there's no stopping. The demand has been so high, and as you can see, we broke another record this year. So developers keep launching to meet up with the demand.
Right.
So the projects are the same, the communities are still the same. It's just that now these communities are starting to grow larger and larger. There's no stopping. So I think some of these communities we will talk about today, I think we will see projects launching over there for the next 3, 4, 10 years, depending on which ones we're going to talk.
Yeah, and to that point, I think we should actually back it up a little bit and talk about how do you and I even get to the point of suggesting to our investors what are the top areas to invest in? What are the parameters that you and I look at?
So one of the most important things, obviously, for our investors, especially from the U.S., that they're looking for is, which at the moment they cannot see in the U.S., is number one, the capital appreciation that they will gain here. Number two is the rental ROI, which we've seen is extremely weak in the U.S. Third is basically Airbnb. How easy is it to Airbnb
Which
your
is
property?
becoming more and more difficult all around the world, by the way.
Exactly, not just the U.S.
Europe, Spain, where I just spent the summer,
Canada is having some serious issues
Correct.
where they are actually blacklisting certain communities
Correct.
in order not to be able to do Airbnb. So these are some of the most important factors that people are looking at, and then obviously they are depending on you and I to obviously advise them which developer in order to follow, in order to get all of those benefits.
And I'm going to add one more huge parameter that you and I take into consideration, and that goes with the security.
Yes.
Is it in line with the vision of the Master 2040 plan?
There you go.
Right? And why
Yes.
does that matter to an investor? Because that means infrastructure,
Correct.
government support, low risk,
Yes.
high potential outcome. And so each of the 5 areas that we'll talk about today, and obviously it's not just 5 areas, right?
Yes, of course.
But,
It's not.
We want to obviously just condense it right now, and it's constantly
Correct.
dynamic. We know that.
Of course, Gigi, because at the end of the day, you don't want that many options and choices. Because if you put so many options in front of our client, especially who has never been to Dubai, it makes it very difficult for them to choose. So we present 5 to 6, but then we like to narrow it down to the top 3.
And
then-
based on their target.
Exactly.
Keeping in mind that everyone that has come to us has come with a different goal in mind.
yes.
And so, and a budget and timeline,
Correct.
right? And that
Yes.
matters as well. Okay, very good. So now let's dive into what are the top areas that you and I have been talking about right now for maybe the rest of 2024 and potentially the beginning of 2025 until we are able to come back
Indeed.
together and discuss this.
So, Gigi, basically, the projects or the communities that you and I, for example, prefer is not necessarily the top 4 or 5 for everybody else in Dubai.
Right.
Because in Dubai, when the data is out for the highest number of sales of a certain community or a project, is not necessarily based on because they're the top developers or it's the most popular in-demand project. Our favorite, since waterfront locations have been the most in-demand properties, especially since COVID time. So that's why most of the developers are starting to look for lands more closer to the coastline. And which one is our favorite coastline? The entire, starting from Maritime, Rashid Yachts and Marina, all the way to Dubai land.
Yeah, that trio is so beautiful. And the fact that all three of them, again, in line with the Master 2040 plan, are being connected, right? So, and if we go through that, we just sold one of the last units available in Maritime
Correct.
to our American client
Yes.
4 days ago, right?
Yes.
Because Maritime, the way that out was, and I describe it kind of like a South Beach in Miami, where it's that strip of front line, unobstructed
All
high
those
rises.
high-rise apartments, correct.
And we know that there's going to be more behind them.
Correct.
Those are going to be low rises.
Well, we're not sure if they're going to be commercial
Right,
or residential.
or residential.
Correct.
But I don't know if it was 27 plots, but all of them have been, I think one corner one that we don't know yet if
Yes.
it's going to be a 5-star hotel or a beach.
Exactly.
But all the other plots have been launched.
Already been
sold
launched
out.
and sold out very successfully.
And very successful. And
Yes.
the price per square foot,
Compared to when we sold our first at 1,600 dirham per square foot, today you're looking at 3,000 dirham per square foot.
is that insane?
Yes.
I mean, and that was our first sale that we did together with an
the
American.
Americans.
And it was the
Yes.
Maritime. What a vision, right?
Yes.
And then when you look at Maritime, which I have an entire other video that's dedicated so someone can dive in to really look at that master plan of that Maritime city, then it's going to connect, right? When we walked along, we
It's a
saw.
beautiful L shape, you could say it. We
Yes.
drove the other day. It's I believe it's a almost 15 to 20 kilometer stretch connecting from Maritime, then it goes downwards to Rashid Yachts and Marina. You continue driving further down, it will hit you towards Dubai,
Dubai
Islands.
Islands.
So I would really call that a golden mile. Just like we have in Palm Jumeirah, they call it the golden mile.
Yes.
To me, I think that will be the next golden mile.
And so we know that Maritime, that's it, khalas, right?
Exactly.
But Rashid Yachts and Marina by EMAAR,
EMAAR,
which
none other than EMAAR.
the biggest developer, the most trusted developer, and it's going to be limited quantity.
Yes.
And what I love when you always describe this is that when someone's investing in Port Rashid Yachts and Marina,
Yes.
it's not about the views actually.
It's not.
Different than Maritime, right?
Exactly.
Here it's about the amenities in the communities.
Yes.
And that whole strip of ultra luxury restaurants and shops
On
and
the
that
promenade.
marina and the yachts that are going to be there,
Yes.
it's going to be like the Monaco, the Monte Carlo of the Middle East.
Correct.
So there are going to be upcoming launches. So stay tuned. We know that because it's EMAAR,
Yes.
they sell out before launch day.
Before launch date, yes.
This is where an EOI is
once again.
probably one of the most important strategies for our investors to secure a prime unit.
Correct.
So, and then like you said, it's going to connect to Dubai Islands.
Islands. Now, there's a lot of buzz, as you could see, now that you're here, because they just recently, a couple of weeks ago, had launched one of their first phases. Now, what makes Dubai Islands so unique, just to let our viewers know, it's by Nakheel, Dubai Holding. It's 5 islands. One of them is Central Island. The other one is Gulf Island. Then you have Elite Island. You have Shore Island. And the final one is Marina Island.
Good for you for remembering all 5 of those names.
Now, most of your viewers should know that the Central Island was actually sold to different developers. They were like
Okay.
different plots.
So it's not just Nakheel
mixed-
there.
Exactly.
Okay.
So the Central Island, which is Island A, different plots were sold to different developers, such
Okay.
as boutique developers. And by the way, there will be no high-rise residential buildings over
Okay.
there. So that's a plus point, just to let you know. It will have both mixed use of commercial, retail, and they're having one of their malls that is being built right there. And do not quote me on this, but for right now, what we know is that Nakheel will have the rest of the 4 islands exclusive to itself. Now, you know they're coming up with a 18-hole golf course
Yes.
and a 9-hole golf course
Yes.
in one of those islands. I mean, Nakhil is trying to create not just a community, but they literally want to create a lifestyle. For example, they no longer want people from Dubai to travel to Maldives.
Right.
They want people to have that Maldives experience in one of their islands. You have almost 84 hotels and resorts that will be coming out there. 21 kilometer of your private beach.
So both of those go in line with the Master 2040
Of
plan
course, yes.
of adding more hotels to be able to accommodate that growing tourist destination.
Yes.
Right?
Correct.
And then the beach and green spaces, because that's also part of the urbanization and the master plan.
Right.
And what you were saying of Dubai's master plan and the government's strategic effort to
Yes.
make it where people that live here, that within, let's say, 20 minutes, they have access to a metro or somewhere that can give them access to a green space, a park, that lifestyle to really make it a better quality of life, which is actually one of the initiatives of the government. And the other thing about this whole area, Ahmed, which I find interesting, is it's in Dera.
Correct.
And actually,
The old Dubai.
yes.
Yes.
And the Sheikh actually, what he's trying, his vision includes marrying the old culture of the Middle East with new, innovative, beautiful destination. So you keep a little bit of that
Culture.
old world
Yes.
style there. It's very strategic.
True.
And the majority actually of people in Dubai live closer and work closer to that area. So when we're thinking about how does this matter for our investors, right? It's not just about having a second home that people are buying here, but it's about people that are working in DIFC, in the business hub of Dubai, in downtown, that because of the infrastructure and the Infinity Bridge and all the bridges that are being built
Yes.
and the connectivity, that it's going to be, I think, 15-minute drive, if I was correct.
Correct.
So those people that want that waterfront living, and then what are the prices per square foot right now for Dubai Islands?
Right now, Dubai Islands, they're selling anywhere from 1,800 square foot, starting in Central Island, all the way up to which Nakhil had recently launched it, somewhere around 2,300 per square foot.
And it's important to note, and I did another video on this as well, is if we look at, first of all, there's only so much waterfront destination in Dubai, right? We know that
Correct.
Dubai has to start building inland.
The
We're going-
coastline is pretty much done,
That's it.
dealt with. That's it. And that's one of the reasons we decided to move towards the older side of Dubai.
And if you follow the trend and trajectory, and you actually can analyze what happened with Blue Waters, with
EMAAR
JBR,
Beachfront.
EMAAR Beachfront, Palm Jumeirah,
Yes.
right? La Mer.
Correct.
And we go through the projections of what's going to happen to these limited last spots that are left that are waterfront coastline
Correct.
in Dubai. The opportunity to invest is now
Now.
to get in at these prices per square foot and have not only the capital appreciation projections, and not only short-term rentals, of course, but also the long-term.
Long-term, indeed.
For people that want that waterfront living,
Of
which
course.
we know historically that waterfront properties just
Of course.
are more desirable. That's just
I
the
mean,
way
look
it is
what
around the
happened
world.
with EMAAR Beachfront. EMAAR Beachfront, they started off at almost close to 17 to 2,000 dirham per square foot. Today, you're looking at anywhere around 5 to 6,000 dirham per square foot. And just to let you know, Rashid Yachts and Marina, their total budget of spending to build that area is roughly around 27 billion dirham, which is one of their most expensive compared to even EMAAR Beachfront. So that's why we keep telling our investors why Rashid Yachts and Marina is so unique and such a great investment right now at these current prices. We went through the community the other day. I mean, what they're creating over there is something they were not able to create in EMAAR Beachfront.
Correct.
Due to the limited space that they had.
Yes.
So the lifestyle that they will create over there, I could just imagine, like you said, the trio of the ambiance between Maritime coming to Rashid Yachts and Marina all the way to Dubai Land. Imagine what a stretched coastline that will be for 20 kilometers. I mean, the kind of footfall we could imagine that would come over there?
It right now, and I don't know if I'll show this or not, but when we were walking our previous, we sold one of the last Maritime, but also it just happened to be that our clients were in town who are global real estate investors, American, Florida
From Florida.
based,
Yeah, there you
right? And they own property in Portugal and in Spain, and they were in
Yes.
town, had purchased sight unseen, one of the two hadn't even been to Dubai before. So we walked him, and the looks on their faces when they saw you're right on the Arabian Gulf. You can walk right over there to Maritime City. The views from the top of all of downtown, right?
Phenomenal.
It's such
Yes.
a delight for
True.
us to see people.
And imagine there's nothing there yet. Imagine having the view to Rashid Yachts and Marina and Dubai Islands while you're living in Maritime.
Maritime.
Having a full view of the other two destinations and communities.
It's so fulfilling for us, right?
It is.
To have these clients from across the world that have trusted us. And obviously, Dubai is a very transparent real estate market. It's not even about trusting us, but yes, of course, there's that factor in it. But the fact that Dubai is safe, that money goes through an escrow account managed by the DLD, that we know that it's a transparent real estate market, and then to have them come here and see it and say, oh my God, thank you. So that's exciting. So yes, that trio is perfect. We know Maritime, unless there's a cancellation or something, that's gone.
Correct.
But keep a lookout for what's going to happen in Dubai Islands, and be ready with your EOIs.
Yes,
Bay Grove sold out.
Yes,
on
Gigi,
launch
because
day.
Dubai Islands, I think for the next 6 years,
There's gonna be-
we will continue on seeing a lot of
Yes.
launches, because don't forget, it's total of 5 islands.
Islands.
So it's not something that will be done in next 1 year and finish.
Right.
We'll move to a different location.
But we also know the price per square foot is going to
Of
continue
course,
to increase.
indeed, we've
Yes.
and the only reason they're moving so fast, Gigi, is due to the demand. Unlike 5 years ago, because EMAAR beachfront, it took some time for the prices to grow.
Okay.
Because the demand was not there that much until COVID hit us.
Yes.
To be honest with you, that's when the demand came in for the waterfront properties. So that is why right now, every time EMAAR, for example, in Rashid Yachts and Marina, they launch a building over there, they're selling it up by almost close to 3 to 6% in that bracket. So we're talking about every 30 days, for example, whenever
goes up
EMAAR,
that much,
it
yes.
goes up that much. So when we tell the clients and they come back and say, oh, I will wait for the next one. Well, guess what, buddy?
Don't do it.
Paying,
Don't do it.
Exactly. You're paying 6 to 8%
Yes.
higher. So why would you want to
Yes.
wait? So yes.
Yep. So now let's go to what would be the next area that we would recommend.
Next area, still the number one favorite is Dubai Hills. Yes. Dubai Hills, as you could see now, the way it's growing, the way it's building, it's one of the fastest growing communities, one of the most loved family-oriented community. You have your commercial space, you have now Dubai Mall, you have your park, you have your golf courses.
And isn't it funny, Ahmed, wasn't Dubai Hills one of those places where people said it was too far out?
Of course.
And now?
I was actually one of them.
And
I
now
was like,
look.
how would people, or what would make people even buy all the way there? And look, everything that's being developed by
Yes.
some of these major developers
Yes.
is going all the way out there in the
No
suburbs.
choice. There's only so much
Yes,
land.
exactly.
And so Dubai Hills is such a great example of when the government says, and they back, right? And these government-backed developers or these large developers come in and say, we have a master community planned. Believe them because
Yes.
you could just look at history
Correct.
and look at case studies.
Correct.
Dubai Hills being one of them.
Correct. Of course,
Okay.
right now, if you're going to buy anything in Dubai Hills, you know, you and I are big fans of branded projects. We prefer to stick to branded projects. So anything that gets launched, just recently when they launched Vida residences in Dubai Hills, that's the first thing we convinced our investors. Forget everything else that EMAAR is launching in Dubai Hills. Stick to their brands. Now,
And the reason is, so Vida is not, it's an EMAAR brand, right? Just
It's
like
a
address.
yes, correct.
Right.
It's
And
EMAAR's hospitality
So for
brand.
Americans to understand, this is EMAAR, the largest developer that creates these hospitality branded residences.
yes.
And branded residences, and there's actually an entire report and study by Knight Frank that you can Google and look up, and I referred to it in another video, have shown, I believe, 30% greater capital appreciation on average than non-branded.
Correct.
And then we know rental returns. There's
Actually,
a
it's
conflict
way
of
above than
numbers.
even 30%. The thing is, Gigi, that it's limited supply.
Yeah.
And that's what And that's one of the reasons why it appreciates so much more compared to other projects within the same vicinity.
Yep.
So anything in Dubai that's limited, just like everything else in life, anything that's limited, it has a much higher value. It's more valuable. So why would you want to compete with everybody else? If you have to pay a little bit more and get something that's very limited, why not?
And the branded awareness and the proven track record. And like you said,
Exactly.
the demand.
Yes.
So Dubai Hills, we know that's just a tried and true, and it still has huge potential.
Of course.
Okay.
Yes.
What would be the next area?
Next one, Creek Harbor.
Dubai Creek Harbor.
One of your favorites. Exactly.
And this is another area that you and I have discussed. Yes, it's sad if you missed out on the waterfront opportunities with the
Correct.
incredible views right there on the water. But this is, again, about the community. Because Dubai Creek Harbor is deemed as, and it has to be, the new downtown.
Downtown. Correct.
So it's going to be the new center, right? The new
Correct.
center hub. Connected 10 minutes away, right?
Correct.
From everything else. So still close, but far enough where you feel a little bit less of the hustle and bustle
Correct.
of downtown.
Sure.
And of course, it's an EMAAR master community. And they also have the Vita residences, right?
Of course, two of them so far. One of them is a Vita hotel. The other one is a Vita residences,
Residence.
which was extremely successful.
And then address hotels there.
Correct.
Yes.
Actually, more and more address hotels are starting to pop over there because of the demand.
If you can get an address hotel, just do it.
Yes.
So Dubai Creek Harbor, there's so much potential, and there's going to be more building. And then they are announcing soon what the new design is going to be for that tall tower.
Exactly,
That's
which
going
is a
to
big
be
mystery
like a landmark.
right now.
Yeah.
Correct. And by the way, since you've mentioned that, that's why they're telling most investors buy whatever gets launched in the next few weeks, because once that news is out, the announcement of what will be built over there, the prices will shoot up immediately.
Of course. And then that's another area also about the metro and the connectivity
Yes.
and how Dubai, because of it's in line with the vision, the Master 2040 plan, that whole area being that, it is EMAAR, right? That there's that connectivity and the infrastructure that's being constantly built. So it's not like they're just building residences. It's the entire plan
Correct.
of this living to cater to residents. And of course, that's a great area for short-term Airbnb as
Of
well.
course, definitely.
Phenomenal.
No doubt.
That would be,
Yes.
it is probably my top 1, 2, 3 places to
Yes.
stay is Dubai Creek Harbor. And
Agreed.
the views of the sunset right there with the beautiful old abras that are against
Yes.
the skyline is
It's
gorgeous.
a beautiful community. I mean, they've tried to achieve everything which they were not able to achieve in downtown Dubai.
Good
so,
point.
so they've learned from their mistake, and I think they've been doing an amazing job so far with Creek Harbor.
Love it.
Yes.
So what would be the next area that our investors should be looking at of investing for the rest of 2024?
Dubai's biggest buzz, Dubai South,
Which
Yes.
includes
which includes EMAAR South, and of course our favorite,
Expo
Expo
City.
City. No matter how much we speak about these two communities, Gigi, it seems like it's never enough, because both of these communities keep expanding. And you've seen the recent news that was out for Expo City about the expansion. Actually, there were two major newses. One was
Right.
the expansion, and the other one was the collaboration with Aldar.
Yes.
That was music to my ears and to our
So let's
investors'
explain
ears.
why that matters. Aldar is the largest, most well-known Abu Dhabi developer.
Yes.
Probably every major residential or community you can think of in Abu Dhabi, it's by Aldar.
Is Aldar, correct.
And even going back, there was one news, and we already talked about it because we have already one entire podcast about Expo City. And I also have a tour that I did of Expo City because I didn't understand it till the last time I came, and we went in the little buggy and went around.
Yes.
Al Maktoum Airport, the largest international airport. And what does that mean to an investor? The people that work at the airport, the businesses.
Not to mention, Gigi, the most important aspect of Expo City was the expansion of two of the largest exhibition centers in the entire region. That itself, they've already actually announced that next year, GITEX will no longer take place And the trade center over here,
Okay.
it will be going to Expo City Exhibition Center. So I think within the next few years, finished, there will be no longer exhibitions being held in the trade center. So all the footfall, the traffic will be moving and diverting to Expo City Trade Center.
And Expo City is already, and again, I don't want to get too deep into it on this one because we have fully dived into
yes.
episodes about
Correct.
it. But we're talking about an already
Yes.
existing infrastructure, billions of dollars that was invested in this area during
Correct.
Expo 2020.
Yes.
Now converted into a community.
Correct.
Two-tier, pedestrian friendly. We
Yes.
have hospital news, university news, a metro. It's the only
It's the only community that has a metro station that picks and drops you right at the entrance.
again, for our investors who already invested, congratulations. And then we have new ones that are waiting. But there's also right in that Dubai South, a really big one is
Which is
EMAAR South.
EMAAR South.
So
EMAAR
what do
South-
you say, Ahmed, when people say, and have said it to us, oh, that's too far. That's too far out.
Wow, that's what they said about Nishama, for example. That's what they said about Dubai Hills. That's what they said about Arabian ranches. I mean, the list goes on and on, Gigi, but with the population growing at the speed that it is in Dubai, nothing seems to be far because we need to spread out as much as possible in order not to have shortage in home supply. We don't want to be in the same situation where US and Canada is today. So I have always said Dubai learns from others' mistakes and makes sure that we don't repeat the same mistake. Everything is moving towards that side. Look at Jabal Ali Palm.
Yes.
That is going to be one of the largest projects taking place in that community.
Yes.
So once again, we need those homes. We need to be able to accommodate the footfall. Imagine the number of employees once again that are going to be working in that airport. Where do you think they're going to live?
Right. Or what about the businesses that are already set up in
Businesses
Expo
already
City?
exactly.
Yes.
You know, so
And so, Ahmed, what about, okay, and then one thing, there is definitely a shortage, a major shortage of townhouses and villas and at affordable prices in Dubai, right?
Correct.
But that's a great area.
it is. So anyone who lost their opportunity by not investing or buying a townhouse or a villa, for example, in Dubai Hills, this is
This
their
is the
chance.
place, which we also have had a client,
Of course.
Michael, that, yes. And so this is the chance, and there are going to be launches.
Correct.
It's part of, again, it
Of
all
course.
is in line with the Master 2040 plan. So, for example, when we hear, oh, well, isn't the runway going to be right over this?
Yes.
This is government,
Correct.
part of a larger strategic plan. They work with these top tier developers, and that's why it's important to work with a developer that's in line with the government.
Sure.
They're very strategic.
Well, Gigi, first of all, it's a sensitive subject for most, call it offshore clients, about the airport being in that area. Is it going to be noisy? Is it going to bother people? Is that a bad sign for business? It's impossible. You need to keep one thing, first of all, in mind. Number one, in Dubai, all our construction, our window framing, for example,
Yes.
are soundproof.
Yes.
Which you don't get in the US,
No.
by the way. So right there, that's one point. Number two, we know for a fact that the runways are not facing towards EMAAR South. So for people to be concerned, you shouldn't be concerned. It's irrelevant. Not in Dubai.
It's a very strategic plan. It's a vision.
Of course.
And I will say that also going back to even the Expo City in that Dubai South area is that this is the Sheikh's baby. It's really like the icon of Dubai, right?
Correct.
And he actually, the Sheikh had said that he wants us to be an example community of all the other cities and areas
Correct.
in here in this region. And so they are putting so much thought, strategy, money into making this livable for the residents and the tourists. Again, and that's part of that 2040 plan is it's not just about investing. It's not just about bring your money and invest here, but it's for the people that live here.
Correct.
It's so refreshing to be in a city where everyone really loves the leaders
Correct.
because they're constantly implementing these strategies and initiatives to increase the quality of life of the people that live here,
Correct.
while being very strategic business-wise for those who have invested, which is why you have such an influx of millionaires that are investing in Dubai, many sight unseen.
Correct. Well, Gigi,
So-
I'll ask you a question. We've traveled pretty much everywhere, correct? Tell
Not
me-
everywhere yet, but I will get it.
Pretty much.
Inshallah.
Okay. And tell me something. Have you seen the kind of infrastructure that we have in Dubai today in all those other countries you've been traveling in Europe, for example?
No.
I've been traveling recently a lot to Europe, and I am mind boggled that us living in Dubai, we have a flawless, literally, without any exaggeration, we have a flawless infrastructure.
Yes.
The difference between us in Dubai and other countries, I realize, is we built the infrastructure before we start a chaos in the city. So we don't wait for 10, 20 million people to jam up in our country as a population
Yes.
increase.
Yes.
And then we worry and figure out how we're going to build the infrastructure around this many people.
Yep.
So we are always 10 steps ahead.
Absolutely.
The leaders in this country, no doubt, Gigi, I'm sure we've seen a lot of hate on social media when people hear us being the ambassadors of Dubai. At the end of the day, we're not residents of Dubai. I think we're the ambassadors of Dubai. So when we speak very highly of Dubai, it's because out of passion. It's what we see, what these...
We believe it. We're convicted.
Exactly. We've seen what the leaders
Yes.
have done to this country for its people.
Yes. I mean,
Whether
just
they're-
look at the floods that happened, right? And then within days after the floods, there was a multi-billion-dollar sewage system initiative or investment that was going to go in.
Correct.
Right? And I know we've talked on many podcasts about what happened post-COVID.
Yes.
But the way that